All right, I got another deity video to do here. This is about the god Ilaba. Now, Ilaba was a Mesopotamian god, but he's attested in other areas as well. Like he's attested at Mari. And there's quite a bit of interesting things to go over here about the god Ilaba. It's a god, not a goddess. He is best attested as the protective god of the kings of the Akkadian Empire. Okay, so that was his major cult center. You know, the Akkad. He functioned both as the personal god of the kings and the city god of Akkad. So the Akkadian Empire was pretty early empire in the ancient Near East. It succeeded the long-lived civilization of Sumer. That's what it did. In fact, it's saying that the Akkadian Empire was the first known ancient empire in the world. Huh. That's interesting. I guess it would be then, right? Would it be? So, all right. So, and Ilaba, maybe he came from... Did he come from Akkad? Well, anyway, he was the protective god of the city and the kings. So he was very important, a very important deity there. Textual sources indicate that he was a warlike deity, frequently described as armed with a mace. So whether he was understood as a fully independent deity or as a deified ancestor, as well as his proposed connection to the similarly named Ugaritic ancestral deity Ilib. Is that Ilib or Ilu Ibu? We'll do a video on that too then. Remain a matter of dispute. I mean, it sounds just like the name though. But it remains a matter of dispute among researchers. He is not mentioned in any sources predating the reign of Sargon of Akkad. Okay. After the end of the Akkadian Empire, he continued to be worshipped, right, in various cities in Mesopotamia. For example, Mari, Syrian kingdom close to Mesopotamia there. And in the Old Babylonian period, he became the protective deity of the rulers of the kingdom of Kana. That I didn't know, actually. Okay. Or kingdom of Hana. All right. He also continued to appear in literary texts describing the feats of Akkadian rulers and in god lists. So, I... okay, well, we'll go over... I'm of the opinion that maybe he's not a deified ancestor or hero, that he's a full-fledged, deity. Ilaba's name was written in cuneiform Il-Aba and Amal A.mal. It is understood as a combination of the elements Il, the generic word for God, or a distinct theonym, and Abba, which means father, attested in Semitic languages, and can be translated as Il is the Father, or Il the Father. Basically, God the Father, or God is the Father. or the God is the Father. In the past, Assyriologists were uncertain how to read it, and possibilities such as A.mal or A.ba were proposed. Attempts were also made to identify the god meant as Zababa or Marduk. Oh, probably no. The correct reading has been first established in 1969 and found us. Okay, so I mean, I can definitely see why someone would think Zababa too. And they are both warrior deities, but probably not Marduk. But I can understand why, though. But I would think Zababa before I would think Marduk. I think. Well, anyway, but they're probably none of these are probably related to. Well, I guess we'll find out. Ilaba was the city god of Akkad. It is assumed that he functioned as a war deity. Yeah, a mace is often mentioned and associated with him. In association with him, an inscription of Sargon, known from an old Babylonian copy, states that Ilaba's weapon let him triumph over 50 other rulers. Okay, wow. Another relays that Ilaba received his mace from the head of the pantheon, Enlil. Hmm. I'd like to see that text. In texts from the reign of Naram Sin, he often appears alongside another warlike deity, the goddess Anunitim, who was designated as the one leading the troops of the city of Ilaba. In one case, it has been argued that they were regarded as spouses, but this remains uncertain. I never saw that relation, but I mean, anything's possible. I know Anunitum quite well from like Mari and Sipar. She was one of the main goddesses, both at Mari and at Babylonian Sipar. It remains a matter of debate in scholarship if Ilaba was an individual deity or simply a generic term for a family god or a deified ancestor. The fact that his character is described consistently in known sources, his association with a specific city, and his presence in god lists seem to support the former view. I'm more supportive of the former view myself, that he's an actual individual deity. The view that he represented a deified ancestor, similar to deities such as Iturmer from Mari and Yakrub El from Turka, is common in scholarship, though he considers it implausible himself. See, I'm of the opinion that all three of the deities are individual deities and not deified heroes or ancestors or deified kings, but that's just my personal view. A connection between Ilaba and Ugaritic divine ancestral figure Ilib has been proposed. However, scholar Dennis Pardee, that's a good scholar for Ugaritic books. For books on Ugaritic religion, that's Canaanite. Dennis Pardee's good for that. I just wanted to mention that. He argues the character of Ilib cannot be considered identical with Ilaba's. and rules out the possibility that the former was derived from the latter. Um, um, Another scholar notes that accepting that Ilib was derived from Ilaba would require assuming that the name of this god was translated after he was introduced into the Ugaritic pantheon. I'll look at Ilib and just see, because I'm not certain myself on that one. So in the Sargonic period, Sargon of Akkad was referred to Ilaba as his personal deity. No evidence of the worship of Ilaba predates the period of this king's reign, including toponyms and theophoric names. One of his successors, Naram Sin, referred to Ilaba as Ilat-Shu, literally his clan, perhaps to be understood metaphorically as protector or family deity, though he called Enlil his personal god. Okay. An inscription of Naram Sin states that after extending his empire in the west, he smote the people whom the god Dagon had given to him for the first time, so that they perform service for the god Ilaba, his god. The mention of Dagon is typical for Sargonic inscriptions dealing with Western conquests, as this god was believed to be responsible for bestowing kingship in the upper Euphrates area, as attested in later texts from Mari. It is not certain if the reference to the inhabitants of the northwestern territories having to serve Ilaba indicates that he was introduced to this area by the Sargonic dynasty, or if he was present in the local pantheon before already. The original of the discussed text was apparently inscribed on a monument located in Ur, but it is known to modern researchers from an old Babylonian copy. Okay? A curse accompanying this inscription invokes Ilaba alongside a large number of other deities, such as Sin, Nergal, Ninkarak, Ninhursag, and Nisaba. Ilaba is also one of the 5 Mesopotamian deities mentioned in a treaty between Naram Sin and an unknown ruler from Elam. The other 4 being Ishara, the Elamite goddess Manzat, Ninkarak, and Ninurta, the war god Ninurta. Ninkarak is a goddess, by the way. A text which is either a copy of an inscription of Naram Sin or a later literary composition describing a rebellion against this king, lists Ishtar, Ilaba, Shulat, and Hanish. Okay, they're Mesopotamian deities. Shamash and Umshu as the deities he reports to the defeat of the rebels to. Umshu, I don't recognize that name offhand. Okay. Let's see, where are we here? Okay. A year name of Shar Kali Shari. Now that's a ruler from Akkad. Okay, well, an early ruler of Akkad. states that he built a temple dedicated to Ilaba in Babylon before defeating a Gutian king named Sharlak? Sharlak? Okay. Um, However, its ceremonial name is unknown. Um, One scholar argues that Ilaba shared the temple with Anunitum. Um, but another argues that um, uh, that they did not. That there's two separate temples that same year. Um, as of 2017, this year name remains the oldest known reference to the city of Babylon. Oh, wow. In this case, written as Ka.Dinger. The first sign is read as Babu in Akkadian, and the second is Ilu. The third is a determinative designating place names. Okay. A temple of Ilaba might have also existed in Sipar, while a priestess dedicated to him resided in Gursu. That's like 16 miles northwest of Lagash. That's where Gursu was. A reference to Sangha clergy of Ilaba is known too. Two texts from the Elamite Susa mention offerings made to Ilaba and the deity Sunir, interpreted as a deified standard by some scholars here, but interpreted as Belat Shunir by another. Belat Shunir looks like a Mesopotamian goddess. Okay. Based on the content of the texts in mention, this one scholar assumes the palatial administration of Susa was dedicated to Ilaba. Ilaba is mentioned alongside Ishtar, Ninhursag, and Ashgi. Now, Ashgi... Okay. Is like this, like a divine son of the mother goddess Ninhursag, in a letter of Adab sent by Ishkan Dagan. Now, Adab, where is Adab? That's an ancient... Okay, that's between Gursu and Nippur. Okay. In Mesopotamia. Who might have been an official residing in the Lagash area during the reign of Kali Shari, to a certain Puzur Ishtar. The former pair of deities presumably represented the political center of the period, Akkad, while the latter two were the main deities of Adab. Okay. Oh, I get it, yeah. Like Ishtar and Ilaba represented Akkad, while Ninhursag and Ashki represented Adab, the town of Adab. Okay. Various theophoric names invoking Ilaba are known from texts from the Sargonic period. Let's see. There's Ilaba, which means Ilaba is the god. There's Beli Ilaba. Ilaba is my lord. Ilaba Andul. Ilaba is the protection. There's Ilaba Ishtakal, trust in Ilaba, and that also happened to be the name of one of Sargon's sons. Okay. So later periods, the Gutian ruler Eridu Pizir referred to Ilaba as Ilat Shu, similar as Naram Sin did. Naram Sin also referred to him as that. Ilaba continued to be worshipped in later periods, as indicated by theophoric names invoking him. For example, that of an Ensi of Ashur under the third dynasty of Ur, Ilaba and Dul. Many examples are known from Mari, where he appears in 10 types of masculine theophoric names from the Old Babylonian period. They, we don't have to go over the names. There's like Pizur Ilaba under the protection means under the protection of Ilaba. An earlier attestation of Ilaba from this city is an offering list from the Sakanaku period. An old Babylonian seal from Mi-Turan. Where is that from? Mi-Turan. Okay. Bears the name of a certain Puzur Ilaba, son of Ilaba Nasir, who referred to himself as a servant of Naram Sin of Eshnuna, a man bearing theophoric name invoking Ilaba. Ipku Ilaba was the father of a certain Zakir Elishu, a servant of Nur Adad of Larsa, and is known from an inscribed seal of his son. Okay. Now, starting with the later part of the Old Babylonian period, rulers of the kingdom of Kana, or Hana, came to worship Ilaba as their protective god. Multiple royal seals from this area are inscribed with a dedication to him and Dagon, though the formula varies, with known examples including the beloved of Ilaba and Dagon, Ensi of Dagon and Ilaba, and servant of Ilaba and Dagon. A possible reference to Ilaba has been identified in an offering list from Emar, though the identity of the deity meant is uncertain in this case. Oh, right, because there's a deity from Emar called Abba. I think the name is read Abba. I think. And then it refers to a god of West Semitic origin. The Emarite deity is attested both in ritual texts and theophoric names in the Emarite text corpus, let's see. All right. The poorly preserved temple list from Khorsabad, or Dur Sharukan, assigns the Adikuma, which is Sumerian for House of the Exalted Judge, to Ilaba, though its location is not preserved. Ilaba is also attested in various god lists, including the Nippur god list, An equals Enum, and the Wadner god list, where he appears after Zababa. So he's a warrior deity for sure, but I wouldn't like, I don't know like how strongly like associated those two deities are. I wouldn't like assimilate them or anything. but they're definitely both deities of similar nature. It seems like Zababa is like a warrior deity, a son of Enlil. Let's see. I want to go over all these, different deities. All of them are interesting in their own way. Due to textual corruption, copies from Emar and Ugarit treat Ilaba as the deity Dinger dot A dot B dot no dot A dot Ba dot Ba. No. Well, you mean like the deity Abba? Ababa. Who follows him as goddesses, who follows him as goddesses, and explains them as the Mesopotamian. Wait a minute. Who treats them as the Mesopotamian counterparts of Hurrian, Houdina, and Houdalura. I'm not sure about that. A fictitious letter attributed to Sargon of Akkad, or of Sargon in ancient Mesopotamian scholarship, in which he summons his allies for a campaign against the city of Puroshanda, located in Anatolia, implores them to respond to the call of Shamash, Ilaba, Zababa, and Hanish, who urge them to partake. What do you mean, a fictitious letter? What? I'm not sure what they mean. A fictitious letter? You mean it's not real, or what? Like, or it wasn't actually attributed to like it wasn't from Sargon? Another literary text, which deals with Naram Sin's campaign against the city of Apishal, whose location is unknown, refers to Ilaba and Ishtar as the king's friends, and mentions him and Zababa as the gods who accompany him during battles. Okay? So see, they're treated separately, Ilaba and Zababa, but they do have, like, they're probably very similar deities. They also have similar names. A late Assyrian version of the so-called Kuthian legend of Naram Sin might mention Ilaba after Ishtar and before Zababa, and Unitim, the pair Shula and Hanish and Shamash, among the deities who were the target of the eponymous king's oracular inquiry before a battle. So that ends our video on the god Ilaba. So he appears to be a protective god of the kings of the Akkadian Empire. He's the he's the protective city god of Akkad, and its region. Seems to be a warrior style deity, protective and warrior style deity. Is worshipped in Mesopotamia, in Syria, in Syria, like where with he was worshipped at Mari, for instance, and maybe we will do the Ugaritic god Ilib, also known as Eni Atani, in Hurrian. Yeah, we'll see about that one for sure. I'm curious. But let me know your thoughts on the god Ilaba, the Mesopotamian deity Ilaba, below. Do you have any more information on this deity? Like anything further that you would like to add about him that would be relevant to this video? That would be good. And I think he requires further research too, the god Ilaba. So I guess that will end it here, and I might not do another deity video tonight. I'll probably wait till tomorrow, and we'll go over a couple more tomorrow, probably. I did the gods Iter, Myrrh, and Myrrh earlier, so anybody interested can check those out too. And I will be back with more deity description videos very soon.